What happens when four grown women, travel agents no less, step aboard a Disney cruise with zero kids in tow? We're breaking down everything from spa time to stage shows and private islands to tell you why Disney Cruise Line might just be your perfect adults only vacation spot.
Ready for your fast pass to unforgettable adventures? Welcome to Talk Travel to Me. Featuring our Mickey Guru Travel Company expert travel advisors, this podcast will guide you in traveling with more ease, confidence, and a sprinkle of magic. Tune in for unique insights, insider info, tips, and personal travel stories that'll transform your journeys into exhilarating moments and lifelong memories. Fasten your seatbelt, grab your passport, let's embark, and let's talk travel.
Hey travelers, welcome back to Talk Travel to Me. I'm Kristy, your host and owner of Mickey Guru Travel Company, and today I'm joined by one of our amazing travel advisors, Lacie. We just got back from a 3-night cruise on the Disney Wish, sailing out of Port Canaveral with a stop at Disney's private island, Castaway Cay. And we did it all without a single kid in our group. Ha ha! And we don't feel bad about that either. Traveling with us were two other incredible agents, Hannah and Amy Provencal. And today, Lacie and I are sharing our honest take on how Disney stacks up to other cruise lines we've experienced, like Virgin Voyages, Royal Caribbean, and Carnival. This episode is all about giving you the adult perspective on DCL, what worked, what didn't, and what surprised us the most. Lacie, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your cruising experiences before your Disney Wish experience?
Hi, everyone. I am Lacie, a Mississippi guru who's been with the company for little over 2 years now. So prior to this cruising experience on Disney, on the Disney Wish, I have cruised with Virgin Voyages and also Carnival. So been to the Caribbean, Bahamas, Dominican, but never quite in the same way as what Disney gave me.
I love that. So I have been on lots of Disney cruises. In fact, this was my sixth sailing on the Disney Wish. That sounds crazy, but remember, it's the one that does the 3 and 4 night sailing. So I've been on a lot of the little short ones. I've also been on Virgin Voyages a couple times. I have done one Carnival, but I always put the caveat out there that I was on a chartered ship. It was a New Kids on the Block cruise. So it
Mm.
was not your typical Carnival cruise, and it was on one of the worst ships sailing the ocean blue. So I always have to kind of put that out there. I'm a frequent Royal Caribbean cruiser, and I have also been on Norwegian Cruise Line once. All right, let's talk first about how Disney Cruise Line compares to the other cruise lines that we've been on. So, Lacie, I know it was your first Disney cruise. Because you've sailed with Virgin and Carnival, I want to talk about what really stood out to you this time around. I mean, as travel agents, we get the chance to experience different brands so we can help our clients decide what's right for them for any particular trip. So I'm curious, let's just see what the big differences are between Disney Cruise Line and the others that you've been on.
From the very initial step onto the ship, Disney Cruise Line felt very different than both Virgin and Carnival. So on all three ships, you walk into a large area that's beautiful and the ceilings are grand and nice. But Disney, you walk in there are characters and there's music and they're announcing your family's name and they automatically the moment you step on that ship make you feel like, hey, we see you, we want you here, we're excited that you're here, we welcome you with open arms, which was an experience that I didn't get on the other two cruise lines that I've sailed thus far. So that was a nice, really, really nice first impression of what this whole adventure was going to be like.
Yeah, and it's funny. I Disney does do the announcement of the family name. I always think it's funny because when I travel with a group of our agents, like we say the Guru family, I
Mhm.
always crack up because they have no idea how to say that word. Like they never do. Like this one, they called us the Gru family, and I was cracking up because I thought about Universal, and I was like, oh, it's like the Minions. We're the Minions on board now. I will say that that is something like, when you get on Virgin, you enter like in the upstairs rotunda. I'm not even sure what they call it, but like they have the DJ spinning the music.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not really I don't know. I feel like it is kind of like a lackluster kind of a thing. It's fine, and you're still kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool, but it's not the
Yeah.
most beautiful part of their ship either. Like you're getting onto like
Right,
kind of
like an
like a
upper
little,
deck area.
yeah, it's like a kind of larger hallway. You can see the ice
Yeah.
cream place. So if you're into ice cream, people are like, okay, that we could beeline right over there.
And Virgin is just
Um,
really, really loud from what
yes.
I can remember at that initial entrance. It was just
Yeah.
kind of overwhelming.
Yeah. And I think for Royal, the ships that I've been on anyway, you enter into the Royal Promenade, which is the busiest part of the ship. And like you step on
Mm.
and no one knows where they're going. It's all just kind of like mass of people. Some people are trying to buy their drink packages or get their soda cups. And it's just so much right there that I
Yeah.
usually get on board and just scurry. Like I'll actually make a plan with whoever I'm with and be like, we're going to go in and go to the left. So as soon as we get in there, like, because you won't talk to me again, we can't hear each other talk right here. But Disney is such a different thing. Like, I
It
agree so
is.
much when you feel like you're welcomed and you want to just stand there and look. And there's definitely a lot going on, but it's different because, like, I think when we walked on to this one, Princess Tiana and Naveen were up in the balcony, like, waving down to
Yes,
everybody, and
they were.
the royal storytellers were there. Like, it was really cool. It was
I
cool.
mean,
I like
before we
the,
even got all the way in, they did the first wish, which was a nice
Mhm.
little welcome, and we got to learn about the wishing star in the middle of the ceiling, and that was such a nice little welcome.
Yeah. Oh, well, and so we got on there. Hannah had been on Disney Cruise Line before, so Hannah and I kind of stood off to the side while you and Amy like were in awe, and we were like, we waited until that kind of faded a little bit, and then we headed to lunch because that's always the first thing you want to do when you get on the cruise ship, right?
Absolutely.
Um, and everybody does this a little bit different. In fact, I was talking with Shalon the other day because we were talking about her Mediterranean Disney cruise, and I asked her, I'm like, what do you do first? And I expected her to say what we did, which was go to the sit down restaurant so that you're not fighting
Hmm.
in the buffet. And she's like, oh, I immediately go to Cabanas or Marceline Market on the Wish and get crab legs. And I went, oh, we didn't do that. And I wonder if any of the people I was with would have liked crab legs because I forgot that crab legs were available in the buffet on day one.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah. So now that we're talking about dining, how did you feel about the rotational dining experience that they have on Disney Cruise Line? How did that feel for you?
I really liked the changing restaurants locations every night. That was a really cool take. Virgin was kind of like that, except you had to reserve those dining reservations. And so this was kind of different where it was included. It was automatic. You automatically rotated and you rotated with the same table of people every night. And your waiter also rotated with you, which was neat because he got to know us. We walked in, he called us by name and brought us our drink of choice because he kind of knew what to expect from us. I also enjoyed the different menus that were
Mhm.
available at each restaurant. They felt very, I don't know, just more elevated and elaborate than just say a standard dining room aboard maybe like a carnival ship. So the menus were good, the drinks were good, the food was good, the appetizers, the desserts, everything was really, really well done. And I was very impressed with the vibe of each restaurant. They were all very different, which was also fun.
Mhm.
Shows going on around you and characters coming out and talking with you and singing and dancing and just the whole everything, just the package was just the coolest vibe. I didn't really know what to expect, and that made it even more fun. So the first night we did the Marvel experience, which was so cool. Got to meet Spider-Man, and um, then the next night we did Arendelle with Elsa and Anna and Olaf coming around. Might have been the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And Kristoff and that whole experience was great. Love Frozen. And 1923 was amazing. So that was probably the most beautiful restaurant with all of
Mhm.
the Disney animation and kind of the Walt and Roy everything, just a classy, more adult feeling environment, but still very Disney, just
Yeah.
not as character forward. But great experience. I really, really loved how everything flowed and it's just welcoming and nice.
Yeah, I feel like 1923 really is a museum that you're having dinner in or
Yes.
breakfast,
Yes.
depending on the day. But that I love that because there's so many things to look at, and it can
Mm,
be hard to explore that restaurant when it's busy with people. So you get to see kind of like the area that you're dining in and the artifacts in there. And a lot of it is actually real artifacts.
yeah.
Which is really cool. And but you do are allowed to go in like in between dining times. Most of the time the door will be open so you can go in and like look at all of the things and some of that stuff. It's like original drawings that Walt did.
It's
Like
amazing.
it's crazy for a Disney fan for sure.
Hannah and I walked around a little bit after dinner, but we
Yeah.
kind of felt like we were, there are people sitting in certain areas and we didn't want to walk over and snap pictures and look at things, but we took in as much of it as we could. But I definitely would go in, like you said, during empty time and
Yeah.
really enjoy all of those elements.
Yeah, it's so well done. And like you alluded to, one side of it is the Walt Disney side and one is the Roy Disney side, which I
Yes.
love because if you know Disney history, Roy was just as impactful as Walt. He was
Right.
just the money guy and the practicality of the situation that they were working with, whereas Walt
Mhm.
was the dreamer, the one that was getting them close to bankruptcy over and over again because he wanted to fund those dreams. Side note, Eric and I refer to ourselves as he's my Roy and I'm Walt. Like I'm like, let's
Nice.
do it. And he's like, whoa, what about the bills? Like, and I'm
Take a
like, oh,
step back.
yeah, exactly. It's like,
But
okay.
Roy, after Walt's passing, helped fulfill some of those dreams, and
Hmm.
I do love both of them equally as
Yeah,
far as the company's
absolutely.
concerned. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I do think, like, I was thinking about my experience on Virgin, and like you said, you do go to a different restaurant every night. You have to make a reservation. That can be
Yeah.
a little hectic. So I like the fact that, like, Disney, you know, you're going to go to each of the main dining places once at
Hmm.
least. If your cruise is longer, you do two. I don't know. The Carnival ship I was on, actually, like I said, we didn't do traditional things. But I know Royal, if you don't buy a specialty dining package or pay for upgraded dinners, you go to the same space, like same restaurant every single night. The menu is slightly different, but it's all kind of, and I love Royal, so I'm not saying this to be a jerk, but I feel like Royal's food in the main dining room feels more like an assembly line cafeteria
Mm.
than a specialty restaurant. Now, I think that's because they want you to upgrade to
Yeah.
go to the actual specialty restaurants. But for Disney, for your families, you can only go to these rotational restaurants every night. Kids aren't allowed at Palo or Remy or like any of the upgraded spaces. So those are kind of sprinkled in. People will do them. But what is it on Carnival? Do you eat in the same dining room every night? Do you remember?
Yes. So Carnival has two dining rooms, but you're assigned to one of those two. And so you do eat in the same dining room every night. And similar to Royal, the menus, vary every
Hmm.
night, but it's still not the the quality of food
Yeah.
that you would find on Virgin and Disney. Um, it was okay,
Yeah.
but different.
And I've heard people say about Carnival, people that really like Carnival, which they're kind of like Disney in one way, and that is you've got people that love sailing with Carnival, and you've
Yes,
got people
yes.
that love sailing with Disney. So like there's not a whole lot of overlap with that, but I've heard that the food on Carnival as a rule is really good. But whenever people talk about it, it's not those main dining restaurants. It's like Guy's Burgers. It's
Oh yeah.
like the
The
specialty stuff
taco
like that.
place, the Blue Lizard or something like that,
Uh-huh.
out on the pool deck was really delicious, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the
So,
quick service things are actually better on
yeah.
Carnival. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
like that. Although I have to say, on the Wish,
Uh,
um, the quick service spots up on the pool deck are my favorite.
yes,
There's
those are
just so much
delicious.
up there. It's different than the other ships. The classic Disney ships, the original four, they have stuff up there, but not this good. I know that sounds
Yeah.
kind of strange. Um, but So let's talk about the stateroom because one of the big differences between Disney and other cruise lines are the staterooms and how they're designed. How did you feel about the comfort, layout, theming, all of that?
So the thing that excited me the most was to see the theming of the
Mm.
room because I knew that each deck had a different theme, and so I was excited to see what ours was. And it was Sleeping Beauty, which
Hmm.
was really cool. I had a beautiful picture above the bed. It was subtle, but it was you knew exactly what it was, and it was Sleeping Beauty. So that was a nice theme throughout the room. The room itself, all those staterooms are not big. Any stateroom I've ever been in is not just exceptionally big unless you were to get a suite of some kind. But the room felt spacious enough. I mean, there were three of us in there, but I still never felt like I couldn't move. Um, the balcony was nice. The veranda, as Disney
Hmm.
calls it, was very nice. A nice little wake up in the morning and see the ocean. Or a couple of days we actually woke up and we were almost docked, so it was nice to be able to see land and we were coming up on port. The bathroom, the split bathroom layout was hands down the best. I
Yeah.
love the fact that someone could be showering while someone else was brushing their teeth in the other parts. You have a sink and toilet in one part of the bathroom, and then the other part you have the shower and another sink. So both places have a sink, which is so nice, so nice. It gives you room to split up and move around the ship or around the stateroom, that is, and change clothes and things like that. I also enjoyed the fact that there was a curtain between the bed and the couch and the upper berth, so you could pull that closed and kind of divide your room off for some privacy too. So lots of storage space. The fridge was nice. There were a lot of shelves, lots and lots of storage in the closet. That
Mm.
might have been the most impressive part about the storage because the closet was in three sections and each section had a door that slid over it. And you had lots of shelving and lots of hanging space, plenty of room to unpack your family. Um, I like to unpack. I did unpack on this cruise, but didn't unpack 100%. Like if I had been there a little longer, I probably
Hmm.
would have completely unpacked and utilized those drawers and things. But I just used the shelves this time over near the mirror vanity area, and it worked out perfectly. So very nice, very comfortable. I do have to say, the upper berth, I don't feel like it's made for anyone who's over about five
Two?
five. 5'5" is pushing it. So I was a little tall for the upper berth, which I am 5'10", so I'm taller than most average women, but it would be great for a child. Perfect for a child. But if you are an adult, you may want to look at not having to sleep on the upper berth.
Yeah, I agree.
Not
I
because
think
it was
it's
definitely I mean, the mattress was comfy, but it was just short.
Yeah, and I think like that's something that Disney, I don't know that they've ever really addressed because it will hold a significant amount of weight. So they talk about
Yeah.
it being fine for adults, but for sure,
Yes.
like you were hanging off of it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not comfortable. Normally, I don't sleep with anybody other than my husband, my daughter, or my sister because I'm like, I move around a lot and I'm afraid I'm going to annoy people. But like after the first night, I was like, come sleep with me. And you said I actually didn't annoy you too
You
much.
did not. You were great.
So that was fine. But I do think I actually, when I came back, one of the first things that happened when I got back is I had a client that reached out and they wanted to do a girls' trip on the Wish because they saw our pictures and stuff and they were like, oh my gosh. And I was
Yay.
like, let's find a room that has the extra bed
Yeah.
because there is another scenario, which I've been in before, where there is another bed that is a wall pull-out bed. It ends up being right next to the window, not the window, the veranda door.
Oh,
And that one is much more comfortable. I've slept on that one in the dream a couple times. In the
is it like a
dream?
Murphy? Like a Murphy bed?
Yes.
Okay.
So I actually went to my TA resources and I found the
Mhm.
ones that were that way. And Disney, unlike Royal, doesn't charge you extra to get that room. They still only charge you they have four guests in their room. So they just will not use the upper berth. They'll just use the queen bed, the couch bed, and then the pull down one.
Nice.
But that was something that I hadn't thought of before. And the one that we booked, just so everybody knows, Disney has the ability to you book a guarantee room, so you don't choose the room, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. And that's what we had. So I didn't have the ability to do that for our particular cruise, but when a client is booking it and they have specific needs, it worked out nice.
Absolutely. That's a great tip.
And I will say too, I don't know if you'll agree. If you disagree, tell me. But virgin beds were okay. I didn't love virgin beds.
Yeah.
The Carnival ship I was on, I kid you not, and this could be a whole nother episode, but was my room was over the dumpster room. So it
Oh,
smelled like trash after day one, like literal
mm,
garbage. It was awful. Again, that was not
wow.
Carnival's fault. That cruise sold out in like 4.5 minutes. So I had to pick the room that they gave me and just go for it. But royal beds, other than on the Icon class, because that they've upgraded them, royal beds hurt. They're so hard. Disney Cruise
Mm,
Line mattresses,
fabulous.
right?
Slept so well.
And I know there are some bloggers out there that have figured out the exact mattress that they use and they've bought it for their home.
I can get
And
on board with that. Yeah.
yeah, it's so
Yeah.
comfortable. And I am definitely a bed connoisseur when it comes to like mattresses and sheets and pillows.
Same.
All right, were there any surprises, features, or services that you didn't expect when you got on the cruise ship? And I will say before she answers, this is a hard one to answer because she's, even though she hadn't sailed on the Disney Cruise Line, she's done all of the professional training for it. So, like, I don't know if there really is a surprise that could be, but maybe something delighted you.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think because I mean, I knew kind of what to expect. I called down to guest services to request towels or something, I think is what it
Yeah,
was. And the guy that I was talking with, for some strange magical reason, knew that I was Lacie. He was like,
right,
"Oh yes, Miss Lacie, we'll bring those right up." And like my mouth fell open, and I was like, "Oh, thank you. Have a nice day." And I hung up, and I said, "Hannah, how did he know that I was Lacie? How did he know that I was not Kristy or Hannah?" And
right.
she was like, "I don't know. That's magic. What did they do?" The only thing that we could think of maybe is that they make notes um on each stateroom, like here are the guests in each stateroom, and they kind of make notes about what they know about each guest. And maybe they picked up on the fact that I have a Southern accent, and that I'm a Mississippi resident and I have this Southern accent. So when they heard me speaking, they picked up on it and were like, "Oh, this has got to be Lacie."
Yeah, so Hannah
I don't
actually
know.
had a very similar experience the next day, and I think you were in the shower. She called and they started calling her Hannah, and she looked at me and she went, "They called me Hannah." And I said, "You need to ask them how they're doing this because this is crazy."
Yes, I missed this
So
part.
she she literally asked them the rest of the questions she was asking for. I can't remember what she was. I think she was talking about how to put the gift cards on her room bill, so that she was
Hmm.
talking to him about that. And then she said, "Could I ask you another question?" And they were, so she said, "How do you know this is Hannah? I didn't tell you this was Hannah. I'm just really curious." And somebody did that for Lacie too. And they said that when your room number calls in, because you're calling from the stateroom phone, it shows them
Right.
not only our names, but our pictures and the state we're from. So it
Okay.
absolutely is. They looked and they said, okay, Kristy's from New Hampshire, Hannah's from Maine, and the one I'm talking to must be Lacie because she's from Mississippi, right?
That is so cool though that they pay attention to those details.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she told them when she was on the phone talking about the gift card, she was telling them about how she bought something. It might have been the spa package, but that wouldn't
Hmm.
make sense because we all did that. But something that she bought and she wanted to use her gift card, but she'd forgotten. And they were like, "Oh, yeah, Hannah, just come on down to the guest services, bring your gift card. We'll have it." And she was like, "What?"
What kind of
So
sorcery is this?
right? And I gotta say, it may sound silly, right? Like if you're, unless you've experienced it, it's kind of like, who cares that the person on the phone knew your name? But to me, it's that absolute example of how they look to make this a customized experience from beginning to end. You're not
Yes.
just somebody in room 8065. I think that's where we lived. I don't know. I have to look at the pictures. I can
Or
never
five,
remember where we lived.
six.
8056.
Yeah.
Um, but that extra step, like you mentioned this, the servers at the table, I ordered a ginger ale the first night. Every
Uh,
other night they brought me ginger ale.
hmm
I was like, I didn't even have to ask. It did crack me up though, because I wanted ginger ale the first night and didn't the next couple nights. And I just drank it because now I'm like, I'm not gonna waste it. But
Yeah.
I think that like that feeling is hard to quantify. But when people say like, oh, Disney's more expensive than say Royal, or although Royal and Disney are almost neck and neck now. When I run quotes, I just did one yesterday for the Disney Treasure versus Icon. They were within a couple $100s.
Yes, I've
And
noticed
I
that
was
as
like,
well.
hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, but that's definitely, I think the surprise for me has been with Disney that they go out of their way. And we were only there for 3 nights. So those people that work on the ship, they only had 3 nights to learn all of our names, and everybody else, because this is not a unique thing to this particular sailing. That is the experience we have.
Yeah. It was
Um,
amazing. They were great. Every person that we encountered as far as a one-on-one basis were just so personable and so kind and professional and genuinely wanted us to have the best experience that we could have. And they
yeah,
said that over and over again, like, what can I do to make sure that you are happy, that you're pleased, and that everything is great? And they went over and above and beyond,
yeah,
really.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So, although we just said that, is there anything that you felt disappointed by or was missing from the experience?
The only thing that I can even remotely think of was the pool situation was kind of odd to me aboard the Disney Wish. So other ships that I've been on either have um, a couple of really huge pools and a couple of smaller pools, or one humongous pool that takes up half the deck.
Hmm.
Disney has like 8 or 9 small pools,
Hmm.
and I mean small. Like I was kind of surprised by how small those pools were. So you really could not, you can splash around in the
Yeah.
Disney pools, but you really can't swim. There's no
Hmm.
swimming. And that was kind of different, unexpected, I guess. As an adult, I mean, most adults don't want to, make laps in a pool, but that option's not even available
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
wanted to. So I would say the pools on Disney are really, really more kid friendly
Hmm.
than other ships I've been on, which is not a bad thing, but it was unexpected for sure.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that I've often said that on different cruise lines that I feel like if we could build one cruise line with what's great about Disney, what's great about Royal, what's great about Virgin and
Yes,
Carnival and whatever, and put them all together, we would have like a game changer of an experience.
absolutely.
But the pools on the Wish of Triton class, which is Wish, Treasure, Destiny,
Hmm.
and the one that is yet to be named, those pool situations are different than they are in the classic ships. I won't say better or worse because in my experience, the family pool situation on Disney, because there's so many kids and because
Hmm.
lots of kids want to just live in a pool, they get very busy. They get people soup is kind of the term that we use.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but I will say if you're an adult sailing without children like we were and you want to get in a pool, the adult pool area is great on all of the ships. Because most adults, you just want to sit in the water, chat with your people, like, maybe have a drink, like that sort of thing. We never even got near that pool. We saw it when we did our little walk around and stuff, but
Right.
we were only there for 3 nights. There was not enough time for that. Um,
Yeah, there really
but yeah.
wasn't. But I can see where the pool that had I don't know what they called it. It was like bench seating, and there was water
Hmm.
running behind your back, and you just had like a shallow pool that would have went like, mid calf as you were sitting there would have been so relaxing.
Yeah.
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 Especially
And
without children.
exactly, exactly. But I will say that for the most part, that area does get busy too, because
Yeah.
even though no kids are allowed there, a lot of the little people are off in their kids clubs during the day. So the adults are able to have time in the adult area.
Hmm.
And so those get busy. My favorite time, this was the only time in the Wish that I never got in that pool. Theirs is an infinity pool in the aft of the ship, so you get to see like the
Yes.
wake freaking amazing. I love it. Every other cruise I've been on with them on the Wish, I've been in there and I've taken time to do that. But this time there just was not enough time.
Right.
And part of that might be because of how, well, kind of we went to the spa instead.
Well, that
But we're
was
gonna get to that.
priorities.
Exactly, exactly. So one last question about the Disney Cruise Line versus the other lines. As a travel agent, how did this cruise help shift or expand your perception of the DCL experience and how you might talk to clients about it?
It really helps shift my experience or my viewpoint on DCL. And we're going to get into this more in just a moment about how adult friendly Disney Cruise Line really is. I was expecting like an obnoxious amount of temper tantrums and children like running into me and, just kids being kids. I'm a mom of three, so I love children, but, I was expecting a lot of that. And there was not a lot of that. It really
Hmm.
wasn't. So I can come to the Disney Cruise Line side of things to a client and say that, like, I know that you think you're going to be at Disney World, but you're not. You're not at Disney World. You can get away from all of that, and find that peace and quiet that you need, that you want when you're trying to relax on vacation with Disney Cruise Line, and still have all the magic and the fun and the excitement of Disney. It's a great mix. Just a
Yeah.
perfect mix.
Yeah, and I will say the other thing about this, and I'm excited for you to experience the other ships too, because
Yes.
on the classic ships, so the Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy, those ships all have adult districts. So, like all of the
Mm.
adult areas, like the clubs and the restaurants and the bars, are all in one specific area. So it's even more calm because you could go back into that area and literally like it's like quiet.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
Wish they changed that up a bit and made it so that Nightingales is adult only, but it's right off the main hallway.
Right.
The jury's
Yeah.
out. Some people love that, some people really don't. It is one of the things that I struggle with in that class. And struggle. Oh, poor me. But like the idea of like it was great to have them kind of off in their own area. There was less of the distraction. But again,
Yeah.
I'm also a mom. I taught preschool for 20 years, which is kind of why I like being in adult only areas now. I like
Yeah,
kids, but from a
exactly.
distance. Now that my daughter's 23, like almost 23. All right, so we're starting right down the path of where I was intending, which is the adult only experience, and then Castaway Cay, Disney's private island. So let's talk about the highlights in that area. And we were all adults, so no kids in tow. I really want to kind of focus in on that, but we can talk about the family spaces too, of course. What were your first impressions of Castaway Cay? Was it what you expected?
Yes, it was. It was tropical and it was beautiful and the water was gorgeous and there were palm trees and flowers and Disney also. So I mean you had all of the Mickey and the Minnie and the merchandise and the music, everything was just combined so perfectly to make such a nice tropical Disney experience. It was kind of like being at the Polynesian on land,
Yeah.
except on an actual island. So it was gorgeous. I enjoyed everything about Castaway. I did not realize how spread out it was though. I guess I thought it was going to be um more of a compact
Hmm.
situation, and it was not. So we started out at the family beach area and had to take a trolley over to the adult only area. I mean, they were so far apart. You could have walked it, but as we were riding the trolley, we were like,
Hmm.
so glad we didn't walk because that would have been a pretty long walk on concrete.
Hmm. And hot.
And hot. Yeah, it was a
Hmm.
very hot day when we were there, but Castaway was absolutely beautiful. The perfect mix of Disney and tropical oasis.
Yeah, so we did at
So
the family
beautiful.
beach, we went snorkeling.
Wow.
Right. We spent 2 hours snorkeling and didn't realize
Yeah.
that we had been out there for 2 hours.
So much fun.
but I loved that. That's the first time I'd done it all the way. I'd done a little bit before, but like just kept going and seeing all the different like not hidden, sunken treasures, which that was really cool.
That was a lot of fun.
And
But we got to the last one and we realized that we were way away from the shore.
yeah,
And we were like, oh, now we have to swim back.
uh-huh,
So that part, maybe do it in sections if you want to snorkel. Maybe snorkel for a while and go back and then go back out again. But that swim back was rough.
yeah,
We
yeah,
were exhausted. We didn't realize how long we had been out there until we got back and looked at our watches and we were like, wow, no wonder we're
right,
tired.
yeah. I was definitely like when I looked up and went, oh no, we're really far out here, and then like we just kept going and we kept going. We can't even stand yet. We've been swimming for 4 hours. Not really,
Yeah.
but here we are. Like it was crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, the
after we
water
did
was
that,
deeper than I thought it would be as
yeah,
well in the snorkeling area. So I would definitely caution people who are not strong swimmers to make sure that they're comfortable before they head out
yeah.
there.
And I forget
Lifeguards
what,
everywhere were nice,
yes. Yeah,
but
that's one thing that Disney does very well. It's like
yes.
every few feet there's another lifeguard. And I think there's an age limit where they recommend, and I cannot remember off the top of my head what it was, but it was like little shouldn't be out there snorkeling. It's just
Yeah.
too intense, too far, too deep for them. So I think there was some kids out there that were probably 10 and up is what I really saw.
Yeah.
But mostly it's adults. I think that some of the little ones were kind of much closer to the shore. Like they may have gone to like the first buoy and seen what was under there, that sort of thing.
And it was nice that they had everything sectioned off. Like, here's your swimming area, here's your snorkeling area. If you're snorkeling, you need to wear this yellow life jacket so that we can see you, just for safety.
Hmm.
It was really
Yeah.
nice to know that they were keeping an eye on it and monitoring all that with that many people. And it was also nice to have the option to either bring your own snorkeling
Yeah.
gear or rent it from Disney when once you
Hmm.
get on Castaway. That was really nice. That way you don't have to pack that in your suitcase and lug it around with you. You can just pick it up and then drop it back off when you're done.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I remember actually one of the lifeguards when we were on our way back, they were like, "Are you guys okay?" And I went, "Oh, we look like flailing fish. I didn't realize we looked like that, but that's okay."
We were taking our time.
Right? So after we did that, we grabbed our stuff, returned our equipment, and then we went over to Serenity Bay. Now, you had quite the experience at Serenity Bay.
Mm,
I went off to get a massage at the spa,
poor
cabanas.
thing.
I
Yeah.
know. I will say, and this will be another episode, but worst massage of my life. So, and it got better. Disney took care of it. But while I was doing that, you had the afternoon of your dreams. So, what was that like? Tell us.
It was like a little piece of heaven. So, the first thing we did when we got to Serenity Bay was we had lunch, which was nice, barbecue style, where they had brisket and ribs and burgers and different salads, like green salad, corn salad, coleslaw, several different options there.
And we should say that the restaurant, or I don't know if you call it that, the dining spot, I'll use that
Yeah,
term, on Serenity Bay has different items than what is available on the family side. They have plenty of food, but like they don't have ribs. They don't have ribeyes that are just cooked straight off the grill. Like you want a ribeye steak, you just get it. They take it off the grill and hand it to you. Like such an elevated experience over
yeah.
there.
After lunch, Kristy went away to her massage, and I just set out to explore the rest of Serenity Bay. So I found myself, I walked over, got a float first of all because we did rent floats. We had a float at the family side of Castaway, and we left it there when we went over to Serenity. Then we had to get another float at
Mhm.
Serenity. So I had a long mat, those squishy foam mat floats. And so I went out and I thought, oh my goodness, I've got to sit on this beautiful sand for a little while. Even though I'm not a huge sand person, like it was gorgeous. The
Yeah.
sand was so white and just that soft, fine sand. There were chairs everywhere. And I love the fact that on the beaches, the Family and Serenity, you have the layout lounge chairs, but you also have the smaller, low to the ground beach chairs that you can take down to the edge of the water and not necessarily lay flat. So I love the option of the different options. There were also hammocks
Hmm.
at Serenity. There were only two. So I didn't get to lay in one, but I totally would have if they had been available. But
Yeah.
I lay there for a while. There were lots of umbrellas, lots and lots of space.
Hmm.
I didn't have to go very far at all until I found a place to lounge. There were adults only, obviously, but it didn't seem crowded. It wasn't loud. There was music playing in the background just from the speakers, but it was nice. It was kind of chill and um just calming, very, very
Yeah.
calming. So I laid there for a while and then I decided to go out and float. So I took my float out and I was literally like one of 10 people in the water.
Yeah.
And the water was calm and it was crystal clear as far as you could see. So I paddled out a ways and watched the little bitty fish and things swim by. I thankfully didn't see any large sea creatures.
Right.
But it was so relaxing and calm. I just laid there for I don't even know how long. I felt like a ridiculously long time. And I decided to go to the bar. I'm pretty sure it's called Castaway Bar.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I think so. And it was kind of like an airplane hangar bar situation and was the theming. And I went over there and got based on Kristy's recommendation, a pina colada,
Yep.
which is a virgin mocktail pina colada with raspberry puree in the center. May be the best thing I've ever drank in
Yeah.
my entire life. And I wish I had one right now.
Right.
Oh, it was so delicious. And to top it off and make it even better, they come with edible straws. So
Right.
my straw was strawberry flavored. So I got done drinking my delicious mocktail and then I was able to eat my straw. So I mean, like, it was like a snack, and a drink. So,
Yep.
but Serenity Bay was probably my favorite thing about the whole cruise.
Nice.
Probably. I really loved the chill factor
Yeah.
of Serenity Bay. Yeah.
Beyond the island, because that definitely is a sweet spot for sure. What
Yeah.
were some of the adult only experiences on the ship that stood out to you?
So we enjoyed Nightingales one evening. I think it was the first night that we were there. We went to the Seas, the Adventure, maybe is
Hmm.
what the show was called that night. And afterwards, we went to Nightingales to the piano bar. And that was such a nice experience. So Dave was the guy's name that was playing the piano at Nightingales. And all of the songs that he were playing were classic Disney tunes. Like we recognized them all. We were kind of playing a table game of name that tune.
Yeah.
But they were all had like a slow, jazzy vibe to them. So relaxing and chill. So there were short little stool cushion things that were close to the piano where people were sitting up there and like making requests and things like that. But we kind of sat further back um, and just enjoyed the experience there. The bubbles above the piano,
Yeah.
such a classic. I was like, that's when Cinderella's singing Sweet Nightingale and the bubbles are going up because she's scrubbing the floor and it just took me straight back to my childhood. So
Yeah.
such a nice experience. It was beautiful, beautiful. And it was very calm in there. So
Hmm.
sometimes you think about a bar and I have been in bars where they're not nice and chill, but that one was extremely chill. So it's such a cool experience for us to get to hang out. Quiet Cove, the pool, like we said, we didn't really hang out there very much, but it was a nice area. We hung out there at night. Weren't we there that
Our
last
last
night?
night. Yeah.
Yes. And we were literally the only people in that area. It was so
Thank goodness,
quiet.
because we were,
We had a great time.
that was one of my highlights of the whole trip. And that's one of the things that I know
Absolutely.
about. They provided the setting, but in that on that evening we brought the fun. Like we just
Yeah.
sat and chatted. We learned things about each other we had never even thought of. And we've known each other for years now.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" And also Amy, Hannah, and I are all from New England, born and raised, and Lacie obviously is from Mississippi. So she was teaching us all kinds of Southern terms for things, and we were
Yes.
trying to come up with New England things, but because quote unquote those feel normal to us, we were like, I don't know. I got home, was telling my family about it, and Allison was like rambling off all these different things that are like New England sayings, and she's like, I bet Lacey's never heard that one before. And I was like, oh, now
Keep
I
those
have
in
to
your
look it up.
pocket for the next trip.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, that was
Um,
great. But it was so quiet in that area. And two, I noticed on Disney Cruise, by about 9:30, the little people are gone.
mhm.
They are they're tired, they're in the bed. You don't really see children after that time.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. So even the not adult only areas kind of become adult only by default because the little ones they're done and they are
Yeah.
in the bed. Yeah.
I know almost every one of my clients, one of the tips that I give them when they're traveling with the little kids is, let them stay up a little bit late, but not too much because you'll pay the price when they're little and they've lost their
Absolutely.
routine.
Yeah.
But they often will order room service and
Hmm.
sit on their balconies at night. So, like the mom and dads, or the moms, dads and dads, they don't have to go to bed, but you're tucked in with the kids in the room. Just in case someone has this idea, because it has been brought up before, you do not leave them alone in the room. Please don't do
Mm-mm.
that.
Mm-mm.
They're a kids club, so if you want your adult time and they can go be entertained there, but don't leave them alone in the rooms. That's just definitely not safe. But you can sit on your balcony. You can sit out there with either a glass of wine, maybe you want water because you haven't hydrated enough during the day.
Yeah.
But the room service is included on Disney Cruise Line, so you can get like that magnificent. They have like a cheese plate. It's like a mini charcuterie board type thing for free. So like my clients literally, that is one of the things that the parents love the most. And I get
Yeah.
most when I ask for pictures afterwards and like tell me about your experience, I get pictures of them out on the balcony and you can tell the room is all dark, like kids are sleeping and they're just having a blast out on the balcony, having time to connect and talk to each other, which having three littles, like
Yes.
finding time to talk to your husband sometimes, it's like, where? Well, right there.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect.
So nice. And we forgot to talk about the spa.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about the spa.
Ah, so we spent a whole day at the spa.
Hmm.
Um, our first sea day. No, it was the Nassau day. We didn't get off the ship at Nassau.
That's right.
And so we went down early that morning, got our spa passes, and included in Census Spa is it's a lot of things actually. So one of the things I found really cool about it when we first went in was the changing area. They had a women's changing area and a men's changing area with lockers and um, showers, also like a swimsuit dryer
Yeah.
thing, which was really cool. They gave you a robe when you got there, so you could go in and change and leave your all of your belongings in a safe location while you went and did the rest of your things.
Hmm.
So in the actual spa where and I don't know what those stone chairs are called. Do they have a name? They're the heated stone loungers.
I think they're just heated loungers. I think that's all they might have a fancier name, but that's what I always call them.
Yeah, but those were really nice. Felt so good on your back. It was nice to lay there
Hmm.
and read and relax. And it was so crazy quiet in the Census
Hmm.
Spa, inside and outside.
Hmm.
Um, I really enjoyed that. You had like a light, little instrumental music in the background, but it was so nice and chill. So lots of lounges. There were some swings inside where there was water running over your feet. Those were nice to just sit and chill on. They weren't as relaxing, I guess, though, as the lounges would be because you are sitting up and
Yeah.
swinging. Then they had the hot sauna or the steam
Hmm.
sauna and dry sauna. So
Yeah.
two different sauna areas. Cold towels provided for afterwards. Showers provided. And then the ice room, which was really neat. And I'm
Yeah.
a cold person, like I freeze to death. I love the sun. I love summertime. Um, But that ice cream was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I went in there, I didn't feel like I was shivering. It was just nice. Um, and I don't know how to describe the little thing in the middle that was making ice constantly and shooting it up like a little ice volcano.
Yeah, I actually took a
Yeah.
video of it because I've been in there a couple times, but I'd never noticed how the ice came to be. That sounds so
Yeah.
crazy,
It
but I
was so
noticed that like
neat.
there was a pile of it and it just kept coming and sprouting up and then falling over. I was mesmerized.
Hannah and
Also,
I, yeah.
there was a little sign on it that said, don't eat the ice. And I was like, what adult is in here eating ice out of this thing? People are
Same.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess they didn't put the sign and somebody ate the ice and, you know.
Mm,
But then there was an outdoor area at the spa where we spent probably most of our time.
yeah.
Actually, there were a lot of beds and bed swings available. Most were shaded
Hmm.
and such a nice place to just lay, chill, take an afternoon nap, read a book, listen to some music or some podcast. Two hot tubs out there where I spent most of my time outside chilling in the hot tub. They were so comfortable. That was probably one of the most comfortable hot tubs I've ever been in.
Yeah.
It was just perfect the way that it felt, on my body. Like I didn't feel like it was too hard or uncomfortable. I was able to relax in there. There are also showers outside, lots of towels provided, teas and waters for you to drink on while you were out there. Just a much needed, relaxing day.
Yeah. And we don't want Disney to hear this. So if you happen to work for Disney Cruise Line, you can shut the podcast off now. But it was only $69 for the entire day,
Yeah.
which that is cheaper than any excursion you're going to go find out on land. I am not a Nassau fan. I've been there, done that. This was like $69 and you got to spend the entire day there from
Mhm.
morning until they closed at 10 o'clock at night. The outdoor area does close at dark. Super good tip for people to know. You can book the Rainforest Pass, which is what they call this area, ahead of time if you want it for the entire length of your cruise. It's still decently priced, but if you're not going to do that, you have to do it the morning of, and you have to go to the spa to purchase it. So I
Yeah.
believe they opened at 8 a.m. You go down, which I think you went down a little bit later, and there was still availability, which
Yes.
I think that's typical for port days because a lot of people do get off. But otherwise, if you're looking to do it like on your sea day, just get up, go down there for that 8 o'clock and get it, and then you'll have it for the entire day. But
And it was so nice that we could come and go.
mm,
So we went to the spa and hung out for a couple of hours, and then we left and ate lunch and came back. And then I
mhm.
think we left and came back again. Like it was kind of an all day thing back and forth, but so nice and relaxing.
Yeah, for
Well
sure.
worth $69 for sure. And another great deal that I found, that I'm still surprised about to this day, actually. When we got off the boat to go to Castaway,
Mhm.
there were some guys standing and they were selling Disney Cruise Line coolers with bottled water and ice. And Kristy was like, "Oh yeah, you can buy one of those coolers." And I said, "Well, I've been seeing them on board, but I really haven't thought much about it. But that would be nice for a day at Castaway." And I said, "How much are those coolers?" Expecting, $75. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, and he said 28. And I was like, "What? This is amazing. Like this is the best deal that I've come across as far as merchandise is concerned." So I got merchandise that I can bring home with me. I got a cooler that I can use to take to these 100 sporting events that I go to every year with my three children. And I got bottles of water on ice to take with us to Castaway today. Like,
Yeah.
wow, this is a win-win. So definitely something that I recommend um, clients do is
Yeah.
purchase that ice. That ice chest is a great deal.
I just did the math. My calculator happened to be sitting here, but for
Nice.
6 bottles of water, it's $4.66
Hmm.
per bottle, which that's pretty much what you're going to pay for a bottle of water anyway. So it's
Right.
almost like the cooler is free, or they give you the
Hmm.
cooler and the water is free. And when you're out on the island all day, even if you're somebody that partakes in alcohol and you want to have your pina coladas, virgin or not, like you still need to drink water. You're out
Yeah,
there all day in the sun. So that really is, I agree.
it's a great
Uh,
deal. And what we had left over, we were able to take back to the stateroom, and we had them that night and the next morning.
all right. Did you feel like there was enough to do for adults? Did you feel like there was too much? Like, how did that feel for you?
I think it was a great balance. I really do. I think Disney did a great job with
Yeah.
making everyone aboard feel like there was something for them, from the little bitty tots all the way up to the senior adults. I saw lots of senior adults
Hmm.
on this trip, and there were no kids around them at all. I felt like they were together alone,
Yeah. Yeah.
just the adults.
Thank you for sharing your first time experience with Disney Cruise Line and giving us your honest feedback because, as we all know, our job is not to convince someone to do something that's not good for them,
Hmm.
but to give you the information that you might not have. And that's why, as travel advisors, we do that. So, giving the perspective of that first time Disney cruise experience along with the travel agent side is so helpful. I think today really proved that Disney Cruise Line isn't just for families with kids. From the high-end entertainment and spa experiences to the private island and adults-only spaces, there's so much value here for grown-up travelers. Now, if you are ready to book your Disney cruise, we can help you. You can
Hmm.
find Lacey's contact information in the show notes below. You can also find her right on our website, mickiguru.com/Lacie, and it's Lacie. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing and leaving a review wherever you listen. It really does help more people find the show. And don't forget, follow us on Instagram at Talk Travel to Me Pod. Oh, and if you have a fellow traveler that loves to cruise or loves vacations, we would love it if you'd share this episode with them. All right. Thanks for being here with us. See you real soon.
Thanks for listening to Talk Travel to Me. We hope this episode cracked open inspiration for the treasures that await you at your next dream destination. If you love the show, please review, subscribe, and share it with a friend. At Mickey Guru Travel Company, we're your trusted guides for theme parks, cruises, resorts, and more. Visit our website at mickyguru.com to learn more and book your vacation today.